All right, so if you saw my review series earlier, I replaced our sump pump last year when it went out, and I had to buy this temporary pump in the meantime. So this is I'll bring it out and show it to you in a minute, but it's the little giant 1/3 horsepower pump. But last winter, we had these atmospheric rivers in California, and they had put so much water out that the little giant pump couldn't keep up, and this sump here filled up with water. So since I already had this temporary pump, I plugged that in and put it down in the hole and ran a garden hose out to the street. So with the two pumps working together, the total of 2/3 horsepower was enough to uh, get all the water out. So I decided, because this pump is a few years old now, and they seem to last, used to last 7 years, now they seem to only last 5 years. So it's always good to have a backup. Now I do have this as a backup, which is good. But I decided, because of the atmospheric river, I don't want that to happen because water got into the house, which is not good. I decided to go ahead and buy this 1/2 horsepower Liberty pump. So this is assembled in America. I think some parts are made overseas, but it's just assembled in America. So this is a half horsepower. So we're going to open this box up, and well, first I'm going to pull the old pump out. We can look at that. I'll open this up. We can see what's inside and how it differs from the pump that we have now. So we moved into the house. It had water. As we were buying, it had water under the house. So we had a sump pump, a French drain, and a sump pump system put in as soon as we moved in. So let me unplug this other one. So, but when the contractor installed, he had a hard glued pipe coming out for the effluent, and so I ended up. So once it failed, I had no way to get it out without cutting it out. So when I put it back in, I put this union here so we could get it back out. So, and service it. So I've replaced it at least a couple times already. Actually, about three, I guess about 4 times. So I try to pull it up once a year because even though we have gutter guards on the gutters to keep leaves from coming out, some leaves get in there anyway. So I like to vacuum it out once a year with my shop vac. So let's take a look at the old pump, and then we'll compare it to the new one. All right, so I'm going to use my shop vac with the 2 extensions. Just going to leave it open to start with, and then after I do that, get some of the bigger stuff out, then I'll try and use this one. So here's the old pump. It's a little giant. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. So it uses a pressure switch. So when the water gets up into this chamber down here, it has a pressure release valve. And you can see some of the stuff clogging this up. So I would do my normal maintenance. I'll take this off and then clean this out, all the debris out of here. So that's a good idea to do once a year in the fall when it stops. Definitely done with rain, at least in California. So now's a good time. The sump is dry, so you can easily test it by putting some water in it, and you're not working the water later. Anyway, so this is the old one with a pressure switch. Now we're going to open up the new one and see what the difference is. And we'll just open this up. So it comes with some paper or molded packaging. I didn't see that before. That's pretty cool. Good for recycling. And the pump itself has a handle. You can lift it up. It's a lot heavier and bigger than the old one because it's a 1/2 horsepower instead of a 1/3. And plus, they're just made differently. So country of origin, U.S. So that's good. And thermally protected. It pulls 8 amps. I'll have to check to see what the old one pulled. I'll put it in the caption right now what the old one pulled. And this one uses a magnetic float switch. So I've had other float switches where the float tips up and then it mechanically connects the circuit. That worked for a while, but eventually it had some problems. Didn't work. This one has a float switch, so this float goes up, and then when it gets up to the top, there's probably a magnet in here or a piece of metal, and then it's detected when it gets to the top, and then when it gets up this high, it starts the pump. So this should be a lot more reliable. This is plenty loose, so it's not going to get hung up on debris. So I expect it to be more reliable. It's got the same opening as the other one, which is I think it's 1.5 inches. I'll have to look. So let's take a look at the instructions and we'll see some of the other details. All right, so it goes over all the warning things, you know, in case of fire and safety precautions. So we have a bottle 287 pump. So the off level is 4 inches above the bottom of the pump, and the on level is 9.5 inches. Okay, so it talks about installing the discharge. It says you should put a anti-airlock hole in the discharge pipe. Now we have a anti-siphon valve, so I'm not sure we need that, but we'll have to think about that. Check valve usage requires drilling a 1/8 inch anti-airlock hole in the discharge pipe. Okay. Water spray from this hole is normal. All right, so we're using we have a check valve. I'll show you that in a minute. And it says only plug in one thing. So here it shows the installation. So it has a union, a gate valve. We don't have a gate valve, but we have a check valve. That's a one pump system. And then there's some troubleshooting information back here. So, all right, so let's get the pipe off the old pump, and then we'll put it on the new pump, and maybe we'll drill that 1/8 inch hole, which I didn't know about before. All right, I checked the amperage on the old pump. It was 9 amps. This is only 8 amps. And I just noticed on the box it says energy saving model. Efficient motor design reduces electrical usage by up to 40%. So this will actually use less energy than the other one, and it put out more volume, more gallons per minute. So I'll put some of the specs in the show notes about how many gallons per minute versus the old one. So this is the original pipe installed by the contractor. So here's the check valve, and it looks like he installed a 1.25 inch connection because that's the size check valve we had. So, but both this pump and the old pump require a 1.5 inch connection. So this pump does not come with an adapter, but I got the adapter off the old pump, which should be fine. This is a Darlin, hard plastic adapter. I'll use some Teflon tape on it. And we'll put this in first, and then we'll screw this in. And the way the pump wants to be in the hole, I want to have the discharge is going to go out over the pump this way. So the pump will be flipped around and pointing this way, and then the discharge is toward me. So I'll show you that when I put it back in the hole. All right, as you watch the time lapse, I use this pink Teflon tape. It's a little bit thicker than the standard white tape, so it works better. Kind of works better for these kind of applications. A little more stuff in there to keep the connections tight. So we're ready to put this in the hole. Let's get take a look at the cord. We're going to take this stupid label off, which warns us about electrocuting ourselves. It's not good to electrocute yourself, but I think I got that down. So, all right, ready to put in the hole. One thing, I think maybe you'll be able to see that on the. I think I did on a time lapse. So, this check valve was really tight up against the pump body, so there was just enough room with some flexing to get this screwed in. So that was not great, but did work. So unfortunately, if the contractor installed the check valve a little bit higher. For now, I'm not gonna drill that 1/8 inch hole. I'm gonna look into that some more. I can always pull it back up and do it later. I mean, it's been operating fine without it, as far as I know. I mean, the check valve was right close to the discharge, so there's not a lot of water trapped in there. So Let's drop it in the hole and see how it fits. It's pretty heavy. Looks like it's going to fit okay. All right, so I'm going to send you down in the hole. Actually, I'll pull you back out. So there's a French drain, so there's one inlet comes over there. There's one inlet on this side, and then the pump is down in the bottom, and then the discharge is right there. So just need to hook up the discharge using the union, and the weight of the pump keeps it on the ground, and then we'll try plugging it in and put some water in and see if it works. All right, so as usual, when we have projects like this, we're installing something that's different than we had before. Things don't quite fit. So this pump is slightly taller, so it's not, the discharge pipe is not lining up exactly with where the union is. So my solution, I could rework the discharge pipe, but I really don't want to do that. So my solution is to get my post hole digger and dig some of the gravel out of the bottom of it to lower the pump slightly, and that should do the trick. And one other thing, I don't really want to raise, this pump is a lot heavier than the old one, so I don't want to raise and lower it by the pipe anymore. So I'm going to use this hook. This is for putting up Christmas lights. Use this hook to lift the pump up and out of the hole there. All right, so I'm not going to show you the post hole digger. Basically, I'm just going to take some gravel out of the bottom so the pump is slightly lower. There should be a lot of gravel down there. And then we'll try hooking it up. I only need to go down a couple inches, so it shouldn't be that hard. So I could cut out an inch. That's probably what I should do, but I'm not going to do it right now. We'll work on this too long. So next time I pull it out for maintenance, I'll probably cut an inch out and then use this union to connect it back together. That way I don't have to mess with the check valve. All right, so now we've got to hook it up to the electricity. So we've got our 10-foot cord, and it goes through the side of the enclosure here. And the big problem is you got to make sure rats can't get in here. So we're going to work on that in a minute. So this is plenty long enough to go up to our GFCI circuit. So I have an extra pigtail in here because that's why I was running both pumps at the same time. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah. Let's go this way. So this is a GFCI circuit in case there's a short. Alright, so this is a rainproof cover. So now we've got to take care of the rats. So I've got this rock here, which might be enough, but I think what I'm going to do is I had this bubble wrap that I put on the other one, and I secured it with some duct tape. So I'm going to use the rock too, but I'm just going to wrap this around here. Now the rats, of course, can chew through this bubble wrap, but at least be a deterrent. Then I'll put the rock up against it so there's not a lot of room to get in there. Let me get in there. So with this hole in the side, it has to be big enough for the plug, which means it's big enough for a rat. Believe it or not, a rat can fit through a half-inch hole. So we don't want rats in here messing around. They always look for a place to hide. So we had enough problems without more rats, as you see from my other videos. So I'll just use my duct tape and secure that. And then we'll put some water in the hole and see if it works. All right, so we need 9 inches of water. That's quite a bit, but we'll see how it goes there. All right, so it started pumping. We'll just leave the water on and we'll go out to the street and see if the water's coming out the discharge. So it raises the right elevation and then it siphons out to the street. So there it goes. All right, it's working. Let's go back to the pump and we'll do a wrap up. Happens. See how fast it comes out. This is just the residual after the first one. All right, our new pump is installed and working. You can see it down in there. So I think it costs about twice as much as the other one. I'll double check in the show notes. I'll put the prices in there. But hopefully it's going to be a lot more reliable and last longer than 5 years. And I think it's got higher quality components from all the research I did. And it's a 0.5 horsepower, so it should be able to handle the next atmospheric river that hits California. So let's close this sump up, and we'll go on to the next thing. All right, so we'll deal with that for a while. Probably may check in again after the winter and see how it did. Maybe have a little review and see if it did as well as I think it can do. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Post a comment if you have any questions or ideas, and I'll try to respond. That's all for now, but more videos are coming, and if you want to see them, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification icon if you don't want to miss one. This is Beta Cygni signing out, and keep looking up.